Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are reviewing a comedy, black comedy horror slasher called Scream Queens, Season 2.
I will go through how it's been described on the old internet. It's a satirical, dark comedy slasher television series.
Yes.
Made in 2015 called Scream Queens, isn't it, my darling?
Right here.
Yes. There you go.
A very cheesy.
It's fun. It's a fun. It's made as a satirical, dark comedy, and I think there's a few parodies involved where you see a bit of a rip off here and a rip off there of different things.
Quite.
Especially the shower scene.
Yeah, a dead off similar situation to Psycho.
And that's because I don't know whose idea, whether it was James Lee Curtis or the writer, director, producer, something or other, wanted it in there, and Jamie Lee Curtis had a word to a mum who might have still been alive, says, "Hey, is that okay if we do it, mum?" Yeah,
or it's dedication to her mum.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know if she's
it's
still
really
alive,
good because, I don't know, this is done in 2015, so she could have been old. But anyway, irrespective. I can't say too much being a TV series. I don't know all the ins and outs of all the money and how much it costs to make, and there's no box office and stuff. So what I will do, and I won't go through all the actors because it's like one of those big epic ones that were done years ago, millions of people in it. So I'll try to keep it simple. Emma Roberts plays Chanel Oberlin. She is the head mean girl. How's that? Pretty good?
Pretty much.
Skylar Samuels plays Grace Gardner. She's the main good girl. How's that?
Final girl or whatever.
Yeah, final girl type thing, yeah.
Go on.
There's a whole system of other people. I'll just rattle off their names because it's just so many people. Lee Michelle plays Hester Ulrich. Glenn Powell plays Chad Radwell. He's a real dickhead, really good. He
makes Ken look like a smart person.
Diego Boneta plays Pete Martinez. Abigail Breslin plays Libby Putney. Some of these girls are Chanel cronies. Keek Palmer plays Zade Williams. That's the Dark Lady, isn't it? I think? Yeah. Oliver Hudson plays Weston Gardner, which I think it must be her Skylar's dad. Yeah, Grace's dad to me. Nazim Pedrad plays Gigi Caldwell. Lucien Laviscount plays Earl Grey. We won't go. Who likes a nice cup of tea?
I don't know.
Okay, I won't go on. And Jamie Lee Curtis has actually plays Dean Kathy Munch. M-U-N-C-H. I won't go through anybody else because it goes on like.
I swear some of the names sound a bit much.
Yeah, no, it's like comedy. It's
cheesy.
Cheesy, whatever. Okay, look, I won't go too much. I will say a few things. It was. I think it was released on Netflix, was it?
Yeah, it was released on Netflix or Shudder.
Fox renewed the series, blah, blah, blah. Fox TV, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, all the good things. Anyway, produced by... The producers were Barry Berg and Robert Williams Jr., production locations... New Orleans, Louisiana area. And this is season 1, but at least season 2 they moved it. Production companies. Prospect Films, Brad Falchuk Television, Ryan Murphy Productions, 20th Century Fox TV. So it's Fox TV, not Netflix. There you go. For Fox Networks, it released, it says it got released in 2 dates, so will it be a run? Well, it's got 2 dates there. Got September 2015.
Well, I think the
and then
2015 was the season 1, and the 2016
oh, that's right. Yeah,
will
yeah.
be the season.
That's what it is. This got both seasons. But we're only going to review season 1 because we haven't watched season 2 yet.
Yeah, but we did watch season 2, episode 1 last night.
It's shaping up to be pretty as bad as the first one. No, I don't mean that. I mean good. It's bad in a good way. You know,
Yeah,
they're trying to be send up and really weird and crappy, and they're really nailing it.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this series. I mean, from day one, it feels like a lot of cheesy, throwaway lines. Most of the time, when you watch this series, you feel like, oh, there goes another cheesy line. They're not serious. This is, again, guys, this is it's not a serious slasher.
It's a comedy. Look, we've already said a satirical, dark comedy. How many times you got to tell them?
I just mean don't expect it to be a straight slasher.
No, satirical. That means sarcastic, sort of, dark comedy.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it is. I think it's nailed the genre. Mm-hmm. How's that?
Just like the 80s and the 90s was kind of a teeny wee bit cheesy.
Okay.
Anyway, so...
Okay.
Which is a good cheesy, even
it's
though...
It's a nice cheesy in the best possible way.
Yes.
And I like cheese, especially on pizzas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting thing, guys, is when this takes place in a sort of a sorority type...
Kappa
Tau.
No, but, yeah.
That's what they call it. It sounds weird.
I really can't understand the fraternities and sororities and different things.
Well,
being in Australia, we don't have that sort of stuff. So
not really.
Anyway, well, you want to get on?
Might as well get into the story.
The story takes place. So
the story takes place in Sorority Row, and this was back in a long time ago.
Well, we think so. We try. Were they flashed up some dates at different stages?
Yeah, there was flashbacks here and there. Anyway, this takes place 20 odd years ago, and these girls are partying at their sorority, and one of the girls gets she's pregnant and she gave birth in the tub. She gave
birth in the bathtub upstairs, and she said, "I didn't know I was pregnant." Oh, come on, girls! I'm sure you would know if you're pregnant.
Yeah, check the signs.
And you'd have little feet walking around on the inside and stuff, little arms and legs hitting you and stuff.
No periods whatsoever. You know, the usual stuff.
And a weight problem.
Yes, and there's the whole eating problem.
Eating for 3.
Yes.
We got twins.
Oh, and throwing up in the mornings or something.
Yeah,
sometimes it doesn't have. I read somewhere that most pregnancies, it won't always be throwing in the mornings.
They're not all the same, but they do have some hallmark thing like the weight gain. I think most people get that. Mm-hmm. Period stop. A lot of people get that. Mm-hmm. Yes. So you don't always get morning sickness. You might get afternoon sickness or night sickness. Girls, you know about this, don't you?
Mm-hmm. And of course, as food changes, like your body starts,
You might crave different things because there's not, and there's a bit about the pickles and ice cream, a lot of rubbish. But sometimes your body says, "I need some protein," or "I need some fat," and your brain says, "Hey, go for this. I need it."
Yeah.
So that part is actually true as far as I read up on. So anyway,
irrespective.
Do you want to tell the story now?
Okay. So this girl in the tub's sorority sisters, they just say, well, this is not our problem. We're going back downstairs and just doing our dance
favourite songs
routine.
on.
Yes.
And
when they return to the tub, they see that she's dead from blood loss.
Now, one of the girls is holding the dead, a live baby that belonged to the dead girl. Mm-hmm. Okay, so holding a baby. Okay, but we find out later on she had another one. Had twins, but popped out a little bit later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the girls covered up the whole death, and they hid the secret away from everyone, obviously. How we don't know, how the parents would never know what became of their daughter, considering, but that doesn't matter. So 20 years we pass, and then we meet our new sorority sisters. Of course, they're all named Chanel. Well, nickname Chanel.
No, the first girl, the main girl, Chanel Oberlin, has her minions, and she's Chanel number 1, and minion number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 are Chanel 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Yeah. It's sort of like taking your name to be part of the group, and they're all called Chanels. Like the Heathers or something or other.
Of course, one of the Chanels, she gets badly burnt because of she gets acid inside her tanning solution.
I was trying to figure out whether she was a Chanel or she was before this girl who came on because she wanted the position.
Yeah, like a head Chanel,
or
what are they called? Sorority president.
Yeah, whatever. And so maybe the Chanels didn't exist until that girl went off campus after getting severely burnt by acid in her tanning solution.
Yes. Anyway, then later on, the dean, she wants normal girls to apply at this sorority thingy.
Because they're too stuck up?
She doesn't like the fact that all these girls are stupid, stuck up snobs.
And bitches.
And
stuff.
And
Can
stuff
I say
like
bitches?
that. Yeah,
bitches.
Yeah. And she doesn't like them very much.
I don't like them either.
Anyway, so she arranges with the sorority to get some ordinary girls, from different stereotypes.
Normal people from normal families.
Yeah, one of them is named Grace and Zayda, whatever her name is.
Zayday.
It's a bizarre name. Anyway, they're both girls who applied to go to the same college, obviously, and they become fast friends, obviously. And they're, of course, Grace is a good,
a nice girl,
and very pretty in the right light, in the right setting.
Just get along with her, will you?
And she also develops a bit of a crush on a boy who's a bit of a journalist major who wants to expose the sorority as a bit of a nasty group of people. And Grace wants to change the world by making the sorority her mother would have made it.
Yeah, her mother was in it 20 years ago or something, or 15 years ago or whatever it was.
Her father praises her mother, saying how wonderful she was, that she was a big show of strength, blah, 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 the usual crap. He's more worried about his daughter and how she's developing. So he kind of, when the first kills start occurring, he decides to stay on canvas with the blessing with the dean. The dean obviously has a bit of thing for him.
And she offers him a job, obviously. He doesn't stay there as a toy boy or anything. He's got a real job.
He does start developing feelings for a woman named Gigi, a woman who's on canvas here.
Since he's one of the ex-sorority girls too.
Mm-hmm, yes. Anyway, so we do get our first kill with one of the sorority sisters, one of the Chanels. I think it was Chanel 2, I think, or 4, who gets killed. And she gets killed by this boy in a Red Devil outfit. We don't know who it is, but she eventually gets killed, and she sends off a post on Facebook saying, "I'm being killed by a man in a Red Devil outfit, blah, blah, blah." And she's about to send it, but then the guy kills her, and then she finally, in her last breath, clicks the send button, and it's on YouTube for all we know. It's a bit weird. And eventually, the sorority sisters, they try to cover up some of the deaths. They cover up the one of the cleaning ladies' deaths, that was badly burnt to death.
Yeah, Chanel number 1 grabbed her head and put it into a deep fryer, believing supposedly that the oil hadn't been turned on to heat the oil up.
She was basically doing it as a prank to scare off the new pledges.
Yeah. And,
but it didn't backfire.
Got out of control, obviously.
Yeah, and then, of course, their friend Chanel 2 gets badly killed, so they decide to take her...
Badly killed? Is it a goodly killed anywhere
They
else?
then take her to the same meat locker, which they put the maid, and of course, just like a magic trick, once they get in, they disappear.
They disappear. And the funny part is, these girls live on 2/10 of bugger all. See, they have some sort of nutrients on cotton wool buds. They suck the suck the stuff off these.
Right.
And someone made a comment later on, said, "Well, yeah, I think Grace's dad broke in there." And he said to steal some of the food out there because the girls weren't eating it. They don't eat any food. It's a waste of food. And he was on a poor teacher's salary, so he was stealing food out of the locker. Yeah. And he didn't even see any dead bodies in there.
Yeah. So anyway, as the story goes, it's mostly a lot of whodunit throughout this one. And
Yeah.
of course, whenever we get to the point of trying to find out who the identity of the supposed killer is, or the motive behind it, we get a weird, bizarre, crazy story behind it, obviously. Even one bit where one of the guys who was supposedly was killed somehow turns out to be one of the killers. Because it's like...
Yes, it set it up so people
Yeah.
thought he was not a killer, but just a victim.
Yeah, because spoiler alert, there is like 4 killers in the story, obviously, and each time something bad happens or one of the guys decides to betray the other group, they get knocked off. And one of them was a guy who was at a male sorority, obviously, or theta or whatever, was supposedly pretending to be a gay guy, obviously. And I should mention, guys, the male sorority house, whatever, they act like the Ken Barbies.
Yeah, a real bunch of dickheads.
Like,
really
not
bad.
real men or real guys.
Really weird.
They dress very
Weird.
Like,
I don't mean weird like gothic, I'm just really weird.
yeah, like they wear clothing that supposedly your mother or your father
not
would,
your mother.
your father or your grandfather would wear back in the 1950s.
Yeah, they're too conservative, but
Yeah.
and they were just wood ducks.
It's not like the as I said before, that this movie has a lot of 80s and 90s and 70s music throughout this movie, and I guess
they do too.
Yeah, and I guess they're trying to make it not period, because this is obviously taking place nowadays. Obviously,
We get on with it.
Anyway, they're trying to make it a different era, even though most of the outfits in this, no respected guy would, especially if he's wealthy, would wear this stuff.
You
No, I imagine even the wealthy class would probably wear just your average, casual duds, because they're not really caring about fitting in their families. They're just mostly about, look at me, I'm so wealthy, and I can wear some nice clothing and all that stuff. When in reality, they don't really dress very nice. They're mostly dressed really down.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Carry on.
so Grace and her friend tries to solve the case using whatever they could along the way. Of course, most of the time they accused the wrong person. At one point they thought it was her boyfriend Peter, because he had a sort of similar costume of the Red Devil in his closet, and he tries to make out that he was the mascot. And of course they try to change the mascot to Cone, an ice cream, reference that the dean stole.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah, and eventually he gets knocked off later on, and a couple of the pledges get knocked off, including, and of course, one of their newest sorority sisters becomes a bit of a makeup project called, and her name is Hester, and she wore this neck brace.
Yeah.
Which she eventually doesn't wear very often, and she starts looking really presentable in a pretty way.
Well, Chanel number 1 decided to dress her up a little bit. She said, you can't be dressed like that, so yeah.
Dubbing her Chanel number 6.
Yeah.
Unlucky 6. Ooh. Anyway, throughout the story, there's a bit of boring bits. Mostly, it drags on a bit here and there, and I keep thinking, why is it taking this long for them to hunt down the killer and stuff like that? There's also a security officer they kind of hire in this movie who is practically chasing the wrong people along the way.
Oh, she's an idiot. She plays a really good role as a dumb security officer. The lady is probably not dumb, but she plays a very good dumb role. Yeah.
The Dean also hires a detective who is just as dumb as the ones in most movies. They're very... But in the end, when things turn pear-shaped, he was fired by the mayor, and most of the officers who were working with him were also fired. And eventually, the security officer becomes chief police for it, wouldn't you say?
And he ended up making his way up to chief of police, and from a dumb, stupid security officer up to chief of police in course of about a month.
Yes.
Not bad. Good promotion.
We do also get a few backstories into the other characters' past, like the killer's past, where it indicates that that the kids that were born in the bathtub and from the dead girl that we mentioned they kind of were sent to a, well, not really. I mean, I think the woman who was a friend of the girl took them to an insane asylum where she raised them there, obviously, and there she sort of arranges them to learn everything they could to be bloody murderers, obviously. Anyway, so they eventually find out about that there was twins, and of course Boone, who was the gay guy I mentioned, he gets killed off by one of these sets of the slasher killers. It turns out I think it was Peter who was a slasher killer.
No, actually, just going back, did you mention they're all dressed up in Red Devil costumes?
Yeah, they're all very.
That's the school or the university's mascot.
Yeah. This is probably
so you walk around one of those, no one worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably the severalest movie I've reviewed that deals with the Red Devil as a mascot type, thing.
Yeah, he's a mascot.
It seems like this has gone on a long time in most movies and TV series.
So the Red Devil, you got a Red Devil mask, a cape, and that sort of stuff. But in the second movie, because he's not in it, the Red Devil, they got the Green Meanie. So,
they
really
probably
good.
couldn't come up with a really catchy name.
Yeah, really good. Yeah,
Anyway.
At least it rhymes. Yeah.
Anyway, soon enough, when
it
we
rhymes,
think,
yeah.
by the final episode, we think we've finally found out who the identity of the killer is. But the killer switches the coin, the page on them by saying, "I'm not the killer," and she goes on to
Blah, 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 blah.
tells them that it wasn't she, because in Hester, who was one of the killers, obviously, who was has all the hallmarks of being a killer because she was very crazy, very addicted to murder. She's the red herring in this TV series. Anyway, she also tells them that Chanel and her minions are were the culprits behind the murders, with no evidence to back it up.
Of course not. You don't need evidence in these shows, do you?
No, not in this one. Eventually, the police lady was there, and she took them into custody. And when they do go to court, when they're about to be trialed, and
they go for the end of the trial.
Yeah.
And the head Chanel jumps up and says, "This is unfair," not even before the verdict is passed out. And you look over the shoulder of the foreman of the jury, and it's got "not guilty" written on it. And this Chanel #1 is going off and tits everybody and everything, the legal system and blah, blah, blah.
And saying that
picking on the jury, and then the jury foreman crosses out "not guilty" and ticks "guilty" as on all charges.
She tends to mouth off in this. I mean, there's another thing about Chanel is that she tends to mouth off nasty things to anyone who's different from her. And she doesn't change. There's no character development. There's no point whatsoever.
She's stayed the same mean, horrible, cretinous girl she is all the way through the show. Very good. She does it very well, I must admit. I mean, Emma Roberts does a really good job of being a real pain in the ass mean girl. She's probably nothing like that. So,
no, not for her, in my opinion.
She's probably a very nice young lady.
She may turn out to be a nice person in the end when you think about it. So anyway, the girls are charged, and they are told that you're guilty because of your nasty behavior, blah, blah, blah. And soon enough, the girls are not dragged to jail. They're dragged to a mental institute. Yeah,
they put them for criminally insane. Well, not criminally, just an insane asylum because they reckon they were cracked.
Yes.
And actually, that's one thing they got right, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so meanwhile, while Grace and her who's her friend, who's become sort of the president in their sorority, has changed the sorority by making Chanel's closet into a special helpline, obviously, to help girls who are in
having
distress.
Problems and stuff. Yes, they had computers set up there and telephones and stuff. So if anyone's gotten problems, they can contact the girls here, and they'll help them through their issues. Isn't that lovely?
The dean suspects Hester of being involved, and she even tells her when they were out in the quad, and they both
had a Mexican standoff.
Yeah, and here Hester tells her that if you dob on me, I'll tell everyone that you killed your husband.
And she did too, probably.
And they both realize if they tell them the one, the other,
they'll get in trouble too.
They're both going to get in trouble.
Okay.
So
That's good.
they decide to keep it in the dark.
Yeah.
And then we cross over to the insane asylum. The girls are having a wonderful time there, obviously, getting along with the inmates, making friends, and not worrying about their diets.
No, they thought, hey, this is great. They said, we're home. This is a really nice place.
Yeah.
They like the nut house. Really weird home.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. Anyway, so we then watch as Chanel's getting to bed in her, and she sort of sees the red devil hovering over her. We don't know if it's real or not, but I think it's a dream, obviously.
It must be, of course, she shows up in the next season, season 2, so she couldn't get killed off in season 1. Yes.
No. Anyway, so that's season 1, and for my time when I was watching this, guys, I thought I had mixed feelings about it. One feeling I look forward to the next gory scene, and the next I didn't like how long it was taking to get to the final moment where we find out the identity of the killer.
That's the problem, of course. What you have is when you're doing a series, you got so many shows you got to pad it out to. How many? There's
13 episodes.
13 episodes in the first one, and there's
10
in the second season. Now the point is, you can't have it all jammed into 1 hour, or you have to sort of spread it out. So they can get a little bit draggy.
They tend to.
Yeah, can do. Not always, but it's a risk.
So when I heard about this one, I decided not to listen to reviewers and try to watch it at my own.
Me too.
And set my own opinions by it.
Now, I must admit, I did like. Okay, I'm 70 years old and I'm watching teen stuff. Okay, and I enjoyed it. Okay, I wouldn't go out of my way to see it because it's not my style. Stuff could be an old fart. I like old stuff, and I don't. I mean, good horror movies and slasher movies. They're good, solid stuff. Not this teen horror, horror comedy. So, but I enjoyed it. I sat there watching it with Sarah. I said, "Yeah, it's not bad. It comes together good. The storyline's good. I always liked Jamie Lee Curtis. I've always had a thing for her ever since." Halloween and some of the other movies she did in True
days.
Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and some of the other things she was in over the years. I just like her, and she's a really fine actress.
I agree.
And anything she touches seems to be interesting to me. How's that? Not because I'm a stalker, it's just I like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes, so I do think that it's worth watching, guys. I mean, I like the fact that I do think it's fun to watch, but as a whole, I think it goes on too long when I think about it.
Yeah, I think they could have shortened it. I agree, because if you get too many dead bits, then you lose the interest in it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say there's too many dead bits in it, but there's too much of
it was too much coverage. Obviously.
No, padding.
Too much padding, yeah.
The Mean Girl bits and stuff thrown in between times, and they dragged it on too much. And what else can be? She's mean and horrible. That's and this goes on little bit too long, where they could actually be killing somebody and having a wonderful time. And
I mean, I think that's one of the why this series failed on its.
It's failed, but it went to 2 seasons and didn't get renewed.
Yeah,
so
that was probably the reason why it stopped after 2 seasons. It ran too long, and the humor wasn't saving it. So, and the horror there was not enough horror in it to gain the audience attention. While I did get a lot of chuckles here and there while watching it, but I felt like I was hoping for the next gory scene to come out, obviously. I mean, because I was hoping for more gore in this one and less humor, but then again, it seemed to be more addicted to the thought of being as funny as possible, and ignoring the fact that there's been some gory scenes that just came up. Anyway, some other characters I liked very much. I liked Grace, and I liked how sane she is. I know that's not the
no, she's sane and a together young lady. And,
unlike the other girls and the other characters in the series who were positively clueless and insane,
Well, yeah, all the Chanels were airheads.
including the men.
No, I said the Chanels.
Okay.
Okay, and the guys, their male counterparts in the fraternity, are a bunch of
Airheads.
So there wasn't too many sane people in this show at all. I mean, you had Grace and her friend Zayday, and that guy who was helping Grace find the truth about the Chanels and whatever. But he turned out to be a naughty guy as well.
But at least he had a motive.
But a good naughty guy. He was so I'm not going to tell you about that because you have to watch the series. But her dad, he was sort of halfway. He's having sex with Gigi and he's having sex with the principal. Who else? Anybody else?
I think that even the Chad was having sex with both the principal, the security guard.
Chad was screwing anything that moved. I think he went through the whole university and then some.
Yeah, well, he was not making any secrets about it. He was always saying this to Chanel in every single scene. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that, about all the girls I banged, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I like you the best. And,
you're the best bang.
And since you broke up the other week, I've only had 50. 50
boy.
nookies. Only 50 girls.
What else does he do at school?
Not a lot.
I should mention
he
that.
studies biology, female biology.
Well, I should mention when they did suspected Hester, I think in the scene, they noticed that her school records or the application was very much written like it was written by a 5-year-old.
It was crap. And actually, when she joined the college,
she mentioned Sesame Street was where she lived.
Dean Munch said, "It looks like you falsified your documents here." And she said, something like she's been a home taught or something or other, and I had nothing to back it up, so I just made it up. And Dean Munch said, "I'll give you a chance, so I'll let you come in, so you prove the application." All right?
Right.
It didn't show up somewhere. Even before she started there, Dean Munch knew she wasn't telling the truth about her scholastic activity.
Yeah, and her
levels.
brother, Bone, or whatever his name is.
Whatever.
He turned out to be. He didn't actually apply at the university.
No,
he
was hanging around on the fringe dweller. Yeah.
Yeah, according to him apply. He actually just applied at the male sorority because they barely even attend classes, according to him. Obviously, meaning in other words,
they got money.
They had money. They played golf. They play other games. Blah blah.
Hide the sausage.
Yes, but it's not like those. It's just a very boring sorority when I think about that one. Because
not for them, it's not. They like it.
Even I thought Chad was pretty much a lame boy. He's like very lame.
Yes, he's supposed to be. That's his character.
I know.
He's supposed to be a male version of Chanel number 1.
Yeah, and when they came close to the kills, like deaths and stuff, they do it exactly like if you're being directed by the director. You're told to stare at the person getting killed, and then once they're lying there dead, you scream. Cue scream. Ah, type of thing,
Whatever.
And it's like theatrical when I think about this series, where everyone is not really acting. They're like everyone's acting.
It was meant to be a satirical dark comedy.
I know.
That's why they made it that way.
Yeah,
probably.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying that it felt like very like they were.
How about Bill and Ted when they're falling to going down to hell? Going, ah! Now stop talking. Stop and say, what do you blah blah? I don't know what to do now. Yeah. So yeah, it's a joke. Okay.
I know it was
Get
a joke.
over it.
I'm getting it. It's just that it was a bit, I couldn't. I mean, it was. I was more looking forward to the next gory scene mostly. I mean, most of the time I kept thinking, when will the Chanels get killed off? Please kill the first.
Want some more.
Give us
especially number 1.
Kill number 1, please. I'm begging you.
She was not a likable girl.
She was very unlikable. She was like those nasty girls you see in 80s slashers who were the the person who, acts aggressive or acts obnoxious, tells you a nasty joke about yourself and your expense, and then they get killed off by getting their guts sliced.
Or head cut off, or something really good, yes.
Something cool.
Yeah.
But I guess, more or less, Hester was probably looking for a way to pin the blame on someone, and it would not look good if she just killed off the people that would probably make good scapegoats, and she managed to escape. Because when you do see the scenes where when there's a scene that when Peter gets killed, after one of the Red Devils kills him, I think it was Hester, she left Grace alive. In one of the scenes, she knocked her out, and the next scene we see her with her father talking about, about things. Obviously, it was very. I keep wondering to myself whether or not it was a bit odd that Hester left her and some people alive. Obviously, even though it's. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's still a cheesy comedy, horror,
it's
whatever.
Good fun.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit cheesy, but it's made that way.
Yes.
Okay?
Nothing to take it serious.
Get over it. Yeah.
Okay. I think I would like to review this one if you
grade it, you mean?
Grade it if we can.
I'm going to give it... I'm trying to think. Okay. It's supposed to be, like I said, a satirical dark comedy. I think it hits the genre mark quite well. I like the characters in it. The Chanels are real dumb bimbo-y type girls
and hateful,
and they're the ones you want to hate through the whole movie. It goes from everywhere from the head one who's a real bitch down to one of the earmuffs who are there who I'm just there for the show like I'm a cardboard cutout, and they're just so self-centered and self-absorbed, and they did it really, really well. The filming's good, the storyline's not too bad, apart from dragging a little bit here and there for my liking. Now, having said that, the dragging bit takes it down a bit for me, so I'm going to give it, say, an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a very low rating, because considering the fact I sat through it, and most of the episodes were like 42 minutes long, and which was a lot longer than anything I ever had to experience watching a
20 minutes too long?
I'm used to them being 30 minutes long. But
the point is, you like to have something happening. If you're going to have a movie goes for 3 hours, you expect to have some good stuff happening for at least 3 hours. Well, 2 hours in it. You waste an hour on backstories and fillers and stuff, but you like some decent stuff going in it, don't you?
Yeah, at least a character development, like whether or not this person, even though the whole point of her character, Chanel's character, she was not to be an interchangeable character. Like the guy from MASH, Frank Burns. His character remained a total asshole for it until the very
No, not an asshole, just an idiot. And he wasn't. His role wasn't allowed to grow. He had to be stuck in that
shell.
In that personality, he wasn't supposed to grow and develop. Saying I'm here and I'm learning and I'm growing, like a coming of age for a man sort of thing. How I can't be a self-centered, self-absorbed twit all my life. He didn't change but that was the nature of his role.
That's the nature of the beast in this production.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess that's the whole point.
How many points are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10 myself.
Ooh.
I mean, I did find the longness was a bit boring, and it made me dislike some of the characters. Even the ones I grew to like Jamie Lee's character, who was a dean, she didn't help the situation on by assisting the sorority because she practically hated the sorority sisters.
Oh, she hated the girls. She hated the Chanels.
Yes.
With a vengeance.
Yes, and she made no secret of it.
Yes, and that's why she got made them open up the doors to the commoners to go in there. Mm-hmm. Actually, what was that one about the guys that made their own university? That's that movie they made their own university.
Oh, you mean the what's it called? The Accepted.
Yeah, the other side, the bottom line, the bottom dwellers nobody wanted, and they started their own university. So they were forced to take in people like that. Okay, you're not coming from money. You're not really good looking. You're not popular, They might be average students or good students. That didn't really matter to them.
And ones who just didn't do enough curricular activities, if that's a term.
Yes,
in America.
Extracurricular activities. But the point is, they were forced to take in people like the guys in the accepted. Yeah. So not that bad, but
fringe dwellers, like you
fringe
said.
dwellers, the ones who want to get in there but normally wouldn't get a chance. So
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about that movie, but it's
I just used an example because some of the people out there might have seen the accepted. Yeah,
most likely. Anyway, so that's Scream Queens.
That's season 1. We're not going to touch on season 2.
We might.
No, not at the moment. We'll do it later on. But Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie as the dean but he becomes famous. He writes a book and different things.
Blah, blah,
she
blah.
makes money, and because she wants to give something back to society, in the next season she opens a hospital. I thought she was just working there. Because he had an associate, what do you call it? An honorarium.
Honorary associate.
That sort of thing. But she owns a hospital somehow, so she bought it, and she's putting people in there.
Yeah. Including the Chanels.
The Chanels, she gives them a chance. Room and board only. Wants to make real women out of them, not Barbies and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Well, she's gonna be very disappointed.
I don't know what's going to happen yet. I haven't seen it yet, but they got some really interesting people. We saw the first one. It may be interesting. It may be not.
Yeah.
We'll just watch this space. We might review it later on if we think it is worthwhile. So.
Yeah, I've already seen episode 1, and it has some familiar faces aside from the Chanel.
That guy out of that TV program, Stamos.
He plays. He was in Full House. He plays Jesse.
Jesse, yeah. He's in as a doctor, but he's getting old, but he's still looking good, girls.
Yeah, he's a good looker. I never imagined he'd be still doing stuff. I mean, movies like this.
But he's playing a doctor. Hey, every girl, want to marry a doctor?
Doctor. Anyway, there's also the woman from what's her name?
Kirstie Alley. I couldn't remember her name. Kirstie Alley's in it.
Yeah, she plays in Look Who's Talking and a lot of other movies.
Oh, Melon movies. She's been in quite a few things.
Here and there. So she's actually.
I like Kirstie Alley.
And she was in Third Rock from the Sun, obviously.
That's
another
right.
comedy thing.
I think so. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to kill it?
Yeah, might as well. So that's about it from us, guys. Our thoughts about this movie. So it's up to you guys to actually sit down and watch the TV series for yourself. And as I've said in the past, always watch the episodes in order. And even if it's a little bit taking a little longer, try to be a little patient with the plot.
I mean, some shows do drag on, but you don't mind it because obviously you need your quiet times as well. We saw that 13 Reasons Why a couple of years ago, and that was really interesting. I mean, that wasn't an action thing.
It scared me.
It scared you, but people being picked on and whatever, intimidated, and very much a teen thing. But the problem is that it wasn't an action thing; it's more of a drama, and dramas can be a bit slow moving. But I found it was very
it's hard to hate or dislike 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah, but I was going to say so. Some movies and some TV programs can drag a bit here and there, and they're still okay. I'll just use that as an analogy. When you got something like a satirical dark comedy slasher, you think there'd be a tad more action in it and a bit less character development.
Yeah, and less padding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if there was more chase scenes. I mean, and a bit of more gore.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, sometimes that's why I said it's a bit too quiet in some areas. So
like when you see them running around in scenes, you expect any minute now the killer would pounce on them and slice and dice. But most of the time, when you're expecting this person to get killed off, the next minute we find out that they managed to get away, obviously. And in the past, even the most hated people get killed off in some movies.
Anyway.
And sometimes usually the last ones.
Okay, you want to kill now?
Sure. So that's Scream Queens. So
Yes.
that's it from us, guys.
Scream Queens Season 1.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll review probably the next one next time,
we'll
obviously.
have a look at it. So our next review may be Scream Queens 2. Or we might do it in the next couple of weeks. But we're depending when we get around to watching it.
Yeah.
So watching a whole series.
I'd
rather watch a movie.
Well, technically, it's only 10 episodes, the next one. So hopefully we can get through it quickly.
But they're 40 minutes each.
True.
10 episodes, 400 minutes. That's a lot of watching, okay?
True. And if we don't sleep for it.
Then you got to go to the toilet, get a cup of coffee,
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it from us,
sleep,
guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and let us know in the comments what you guys think we should review next. I think someone already handed in a recommendation to us,
Ooh, what?
Mike.
What are we going to do?
Well, it will be a surprise. So after we do this one, we'll then go ahead and actually review the
where do we get it? I
recommendation.
forgot to say where to get it. Okay, right.
Yes.
eBay. It's for sale. And actually, I believe Season 1 and Season 2 are, but we're only interested in Season 1 at the moment. Amazon, Season 1 is for rent and for sale. Now, when you go looking, I noticed something. There is an earlier TV series in 2008 called Screen Queens. You got nothing to do with this. Nothing whatsoever. Not in the same storyline. So when you go looking for it, it's Scream Queens 2015. Okay. When you go looking. Okay?
Got it.
There you go then.
All right, that's it from us, guys. So this is Sarah Stephenson
And Moggle.
saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now and have a good week.
Bye, guys.